A small island nation with vast ambitions, Britain transformed its naval force into the world's most formidable maritime power. From medieval England to global dominance, the Royal Navy shaped history through battles, discoveries, and strategic alliances. This epic tale spans centuries, continents, and the relentless pursuit of power. Britain's remarkable rise saw it control a significant portion of the globe, a testament to the enduring legacy of its naval prowess. The early formation of the Royal Navy. The roots of Britain's maritime dominance trace back to the 16th century. At this time, England was not a naval superpower, but a modest kingdom overshadowed by Spain and Portugal. These nations had already established vast fleets to control trade routes and colonize distant lands. England, meanwhile, faced political instability and economic challenges. The turning point came under King Henry VIII. In 1546, he formally established the Navy Royal, laying the foundation for the Royal Navy. This was more than a military initiative. It was a strategic move to protect England's shores and assert its presence on the seas. Henry invested heavily in shipbuilding, commissioning iconic vessels like Mary Rose. Though this ship tragically sank in 1545 during a battle with France, its construction symbolized England's growing naval ambitions, naval foundations for imperial expansion. As England transitioned into the 17th century, its navy became integral to colonial ambitions. The establishment of overseas territories required not only exploration, but also protection from rival nations. The navy was at the heart of this effort. In 1600, Queen Elizabeth I granted a charter to the East India Company, giving it exclusive rights to trade in Asia. This marked a significant moment in Britain's imperial history. The company relied on naval power to establish trading posts in India, Southeast Asia, and China. These ships weren't just carrying goods, they were symbols of Britain's growing influence. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, England began colonizing North America. In 1607, Jamestown was founded as England's first permanent settlement in Virginia. Even with harsh conditions and near failure, tobacco cultivation saved the colony. By the mid-century, English settlements spread across New England, Canada, and the Caribbean. Innovations at sea. One of the most significant breakthroughs came with ship design during the late 18th century. Ships like HMS Victory, launched in 1765, represented cutting-edge engineering for their time. With reinforced hulls and improved artillery placement, these vessels were designed for both durability and firepower. By the 19th century, technological advancements transformed naval warfare entirely. The transition from wooden sailing ships to ironclad steam-powered vessels revolutionized Britain's capabilities at sea. HMS Warrior, launched in 1860 as Britain's first iron-hulled warship, marked this shift. It combined speed with resilience, far superior to traditional wooden ships. Steam power allowed ships to travel faster and more reliably than ever before. This innovation enabled Britain to maintain a global presence efficiently while responding quickly to threats or opportunities. Tactics that changed history. One such tactic was the line of battle formation introduced in the late 17th century. Ships would sail in a single line parallel to enemy forces, maximizing their firepower while minimizing exposure to counterattacks. This approach became standard practice during major naval engagements. The Battle of Trafalgar in 1805 exemplified British tactical brilliance. Facing combined French and Spanish fleets twice its size, Admiral Lord Nelson broke conventional rules by splitting his forces into two columns and attacking head-on. His strategy disrupted enemy formations and led to a decisive victory that solidified Britain's dominance at sea. Nelson's tactics weren't just innovative, they were bold and adaptive. His ability to exploit weaknesses in enemy plans became a hallmark of British naval warfare. The Navy's role in charting new territories. Beyond warfare and trade routes, exploration played a central role in Britain's naval history. The Navy was just about battles and discovery. Captain James Cook stands out as one of Britain's greatest explorers. Between 1768 and 1779, Cook undertook 3 voyages that mapped vast swaths of uncharted territory across the Pacific Ocean. His expeditions led to the discovery of Australia and New Zealand, as well as detailed mapping of Hawaii and other islands. Exploration wasn't limited to distant oceans. It extended into polar regions. Expeditions like those led by Robert Falcon Scott sought not only scientific knowledge, but also national prestige through daring feats in extreme environments. Guardians of trade. The British Navy was the backbone of Britain's economic prosperity. Its primary role was to protect vital shipping lanes and ensure the safe passage of goods across global trade routes. During World War II, the Battle of the Atlantic showcased the Navy's importance in securing trade routes. From 1939 to 1945, British convoys transported food, arms, and raw materials while facing relentless attacks from German U-boats. The Royal Navy's escort ships and innovative tactics, such as sonar technology and coordinated air-sea defenses, were instrumental in defeating Germany's campaign of unrestricted submarine warfare. Trade protection was not a new concept for the Navy. In the 18th century, Britain's maritime supremacy allowed it to dominate commerce routes in Asia, Africa, and the Americas. The spice trade from India and Southeast Asia, along with sugar exports from Caribbean plantations, depended on naval power to deter piracy and rival nations. The Navy ensured that Britain remained at the center of global trade networks, enriching both merchants and the Crown. Maritime strength meets political control. The Royal Navy was not just a military force, it was deeply intertwined with Britain's political and economic strategies. Naval power was used to enforce treaties, expand colonial territories, and assert dominance over rival nations. One striking example is the Opium Wars between Britain and China. The Royal Navy played a decisive role in forcing China to open its ports to British trade after Chinese authorities attempted to suppress the opium trade. Naval bombardments of Chinese coastal cities like Canton demonstrated Britain's ability to leverage maritime strength for political gain. Another instance of this integration came during the Napoleonic Wars in 1803 to 1815. The Royal Navy's victory at Trafalgar in 1805 not only secured Britain against invasion, but also allowed it to impose blockades on French ports. The Admiralty worked closely with Parliament to fund naval expansion during critical periods like the late 19th century, when Germany emerged as a rival power. The Naval Defense Act of 1889 mandated maintaining a fleet at least double the size of its nearest competitors, a policy known as the two-power standard. Legendary battles and admirals. The Royal Navy has been shaped by legendary battles and iconic figures who left an indelible mark on history. These moments defined Britain's maritime dominance and inspired generations. One of the most celebrated battles is Trafalgar in 1805, where Admiral Lord Nelson led British forces against a combined French and Spanish fleet off the coast of Spain. Another pivotal engagement was the Battle of Jutland during World War I. This clash between British and German fleets in the North Sea remains one of the largest naval battles ever fought. Figures like Admiral George Anson also contributed significantly to Britain's naval legacy. Anson's circumnavigation of the globe showcased British resilience and strategic prowess during wartime expeditions. Modern impacts. The lessons from centuries of British naval dominance continue to influence modern maritime strategies worldwide. The emphasis on technological innovation, adaptability, and strategic alliances remains relevant in today's geopolitical landscape. One transformative moment came with HMS Dreadnought in 1906. This revolutionary battleship introduced all big gun armament systems and steam turbine propulsion, rendering previous battleships obsolete overnight. The Dreadnought sparked an arms race among major powers, particularly Germany, which sought to challenge Britain's supremacy at sea. Today, navies around the world draw inspiration from British practices such as centralized command structures and coordinated fleet operations. Modern vessels like aircraft carriers, trace their lineage back to innovations pioneered by the Royal Navy during World War II, when carriers replaced battleships as dominant forces in naval warfare. Britain itself continues to invest heavily in its navy through advanced technologies like stealth ships and nuclear submarines. The Royal Navy remains a critical component of NATO operations, ensuring collective security across international waters. The Royal Navy in British identity. The Royal Navy is more than just a military institution. It is a symbol of national pride deeply embedded in British culture. From literature to music and film, depictions of naval heroism have shaped how Britons view their history and identity. Iconic ships like HMS Victory are preserved as national treasures. Victory served as Nelson's flagship during Trafalgar and now stands as a museum ship in Portsmouth, a testament to Britain's maritime heritage. Similarly, HMS Warrior represents technological innovation during its time as an ironclad warship launched in 1860. Naval traditions also permeate popular culture through works like Alfred Lord Tennyson's poem The Charge of the Light Brigade, or C.S. Forester's Horatio Hornblower series, which romanticize naval exploits during wartime. Beyond cultural symbolism, former colonies often model their navies after British practices, reflecting how deeply rooted this legacy is globally. Countries like India maintain traditions derived from Royal Navy training programs established during colonial rule. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe for more content exploring fascinating stories of history and culture. What role do you think naval power played in shaping the British Empire's global dominance? Share your thoughts in the comments below.